Are you tired of pesky flies invading your space? A dirty fly zapper might be the culprit. In the next few minutes, I'll show you how to maintain your fly zapper to optimal performance so you can enjoy a fly-free home all year round. This is my fly zapper. I got it from Amazon a couple of years ago and I wouldn't be without it. Fly zappers are a great way to keep your home or workspace free from the pesky insects. But like any other device, they require some maintenance. Typically, the tubes in these zappers need to be replaced between 12 and 18 months. Today, I'll guide you through the entire process from disassembly, reassembly and testing, ensuring your zapper is back to its original optimal performance. This particular insect killer or zapper is a model number GC1-20 and it's a 240 volt, 220, 240 volt, 33 watts pulled 10 watt tubes, and there's two of them. And it's got batch number and whatever else. But one of the most important bits on here, it says, and high voltage, do not touch the electric net. Now that bit is very important because if you've seen what happens to the flies on those things, you don't want that happening to you. You can see this has got a few flies on it and it's been mounted above the floor about 6.5 foot up over a fridge, so we can't get to it very easily, which is why it's been necessary to do both jobs at once. So the first thing you're going to need to do is get yourself prepared. You're going to need to get your zapper and unplug it from the mains. Safety is paramount and these things do bite. And gather all your tools you need, a screwdriver, replacement tubes, and you might want to get a pair of gloves. Although, honestly, if you just wash your hands properly before, during and after, you'll probably be okay. But it depends how, they're not the nicest things in the world to hold. Disassembly. Now let's start by disassembling the zapper. Using your screwdriver, carefully remove the screws holding the case together. Now these are at the bottom. It's not nice when you start doing this, but this is where it is. You can see here at the bottom there are two screws. There's one either side, there and there. With the mesh removed, you can see where they are. It's there and there. And you've got to be careful about getting them out because if you don't, you'll damage things. At the top of the zapper, you've got two screws here, there, one there. They've got to come out as well. And when you've got all four screws out, you can then move on. Once the screws are out, gently lift the casing to expose the tubes inside. Here you can see the old tubes that need replacing. These tubes got black spots, they take a while to strike and they're not very bright. These are the instructions from the tube supply site, and you can see here it says step 1, unplug it. Step 2, discharge it. Step 3, unscrew and open the protective mesh, which we've just covered. Step 4 is twist the old bulb clockwise to replace the bulb. It is only a 90-degree turn and you have to try and get the tubes out. Remember, they're glass, they're delicate, and so you don't want to force them. Removing the tubes. Next, carefully twist and pull out the old tubes. Be gentle to avoid breaking them. If the tubes are stuck, a slight wiggle should help them loosen. But remember, these things are pressurized and if they go bang, you might want to be wearing glasses or some sort of goggles. So this is real footage of me trying to get the tubes out. Now you can see there I've actually cleaned up all the flies and stuff at this point, and I've just got to get these tubes out now. You can see it's a quarter turn and hey presto, it should come out. But you might find the problem that I had, which is that they tend to be a little bit sort of stuck. They're 2.5, possibly 3 years old now, so therefore everything's just a little bit stiff. And this is where you have to be careful because you do not want to have this thing explode. Do not tap it or bang it or flex it, and make sure you're very, very careful with it. They are pressurized, they will go with a bang. So that's it, that should turn in and then that should just slide up. But you see how the socket is actually flexing. They're sprung loaded and this is supposed to be a good thing. But what you'll find is that there can be a bit of hindrance. So that's that there, sorted. What are we going to do now? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a pan scourer, sort of foam on one side and slightly green thing on the other. I'm just going to give this a rub over because I want to get basically the gunge off it, the dead flies and whatever. But I'm not going to make too big a job of it because quite simply it's not necessary. We just want to make sure it's not nasty. You've got to be careful with this because it is electricity and you don't want to be getting water involved with electricity. Now those are the starters, they're normal starters, they're fine. Then we come to actually putting the new tubes in. Now you can see there I've put that there and I've got that one in there. That one's gone in quite well, and that one's sort of gone in, but I've had to actually spray a bit of furniture polish onto the sockets to allow them to slide, because they weren't particularly interested in moving. Make sure everything's okay. This isn't the nicest job in the world. Installing the new tubes. Take your new tubes and align them with the sockets. Insert them gently and twist to secure. It's only a 90-degree twist. Put them in place. Make sure they are firmly seated to ensure proper operation. But this is where I had a bit of problem, and I'll show you what that is. The nice new tubes, and they're definitely the right type, having made sure that they're the right fit and everything. Remember the problem I had getting the tubes out? Well, getting them back in was even more tricky, because although those are sprung loaded, they are not particularly happy on moving. They were much easier last time I changed them, and this time they've just been awkward. What I did to get around this was I sprayed the actual connector with a bit of furniture polish, just to make it slide in and out of the housing slightly easier, and then they fitted in nicely. Again, same warnings, they're glass, don't flex them, don't hit them, be gentle with them, and it will all work out right in the end. Carefully place the casing back and secure it with the screws you removed earlier. Don't forget, these ones are important. Double check that everything is right and that it's secure. Now when it comes to testing it, you've got to plug the zapper in and make sure everything's okay. So obviously you want to just be careful. You've got to stand back. You don't want to be... Sometimes these things have a habit of doing things nasty. Whenever I test anything electronic or electrical, I tend to stand back just in case. I've seen flames shoot out things 2 or 3 foot. I don't want to be within that range. The moment has arrived, so it's all put back together, and we're going to switch it on and see what happens. Is it going to go bang? Well, fluorescent tubes, aren't they lovely the way they start? Now, this flashing is because it's a 60 cycle camera and they're 50 cycle tubes, but that's perfectly normal. And there you have it. Replacing the tubes on your 20-watt 2-tube maze player fly zapper is a simple task, and you can significantly improve its efficiency. I'll say that again slower if you like. No, I won't. Well, anyway, if you found this video helpful, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and to subscribe to Gary Keep It Simple for more straightforward tech tutorials. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. There's another video coming here. Cheers. Bye-bye.